Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now listen to me. Now these videos may be a little low. I remember to put a AirPod in this time, so hopefully that helped with the sound. But just gotta listen harder. Put your both earbuds in. It'll sink deeper into your memory. Having to listen a little harder while I'm, on location. And so just understand that I'm not in my normal environment where I could talk loud because it's ears around me. So just putting it out there for all the videos you see for the next week or so. Now, one of the things I want to help women understand, and what I'm kind of focusing on right now, is coming from a male perspective. Don't look at it like, oh, all Tony videos to women. I'm a man creating a dialogue, because a lot of times as men, we don't create a dialogue and we don't express ourselves in a healthy way. And that's why you notice when you see most men talking online, they sound angry. And it's because they've bottled in and they've held up for so long that now that they got a podcast or a YouTube, they're angry and they are attacking. So what I try to do is get ahead of that and create this dialogue, because the breakdown in our relationships comes from a lack of understanding. Just like the Bible says, my people perish due to a lack of knowledge. Our relationships perish due to a lack of knowledge and due to a lack of understanding. And so what I have to do, being that my audience on YouTube is 95% women, I gotta speak more to the 95% than the 5%. But at the same time, the 5-6% of men also get to better understand themselves and connect with themselves, because it's so many men that have never talked to a man about their relationship or about their life or about themselves, and they've never been heard. So when I'm articulating this stuff, it also helps men build confidence in their relationships, and it helps men learn how to articulate themselves with their spouse or partner. So understand that is that there's a method to the madness. And to the ladies who watch my videos, don't feel attacked or like it's just all about you and that nothing is for the man, because men still are learning and men still learning from these explanations. And if you feel triggered, if you feel offended, that's because the truth stepped on your toes, or it's because you have not healed and resolved that which is in you based on the man that you are mad at, or that you are hating, or that you are hurt by. So don't take your pain out on the video in the comments. Do your work in private with your therapist or with your coach. And it does not need to be said that that goes both ways, because that is already understood, and that which is understood does not need to be explained. So please don't have to get read. Instead, get the knowledge that's for your head. Okay, just made that up right there. So this what you have to understand is that the same way you heard me just articulate that, the way the male mind works is A to B. Men do not utilize all of the cognitive skills that we have like women do. Remember, listen to a 3-year-old girl talk and listen to a 3-year-old boy talk. Then listen to a 5-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy. You will hear a difference in how the mind works. They could be equally as smart, but they express themselves totally different on average. Yes, there are some girls who express just like boys and some boys who express just like girls, but on average, the expression level is different. A lot of times when you talk to a little girl, she sounds like a little adult. And when you talk to a little boy, he sounds like a little boy. And so what women have to understand when it comes to marriage, because see, some of the women had a problem with me being transparent and honest about what I said to my wife years ago when she raised her voice at me in public, and women tried to justify that and said that I provoke her by saying we need to teach him how to catch a grounder or a pop fly, whichever it was. And my wife was working with him every day, and he made a mistake like everybody do. I was laughing about it. It wasn't no big deal to me, but because she had been out there working with him, she took it personal, and when she yelled at me, that hurt my feelings. Now, what some men do is they just go and cheat. They feel disrespected, they go cheat. They feel disrespected, they start an argument right there in public. They feel disrespected, they disrespect back when they get a chance. What I did is I stayed quiet, I walked on away, I kept it chill and cool, and then I confronted it when we got away from the game and we got in private and said, that's not gonna fly. Don't you ever do that again. What women have to understand is I'm a man that is healthy. I don't cheat. I don't curse. I don't yell. I don't smoke. I don't gamble. I don't watch pornography. I don't cheat on my wife. So if I express myself like that, then you can imagine even more so how a man with any vices and any other elements. And I was raised in a two-parent home. My dad was a pastor. And when I said what I said as a man, I'm very direct. I'm very blunt. And on average, that's how men are. But see, also as men, we could be verbally abusive. Things could get aggressive. But the lesson is the same way a man will talk to his woman and say, hey, do not talk to me that way. A woman needs to do the same thing with her man. But what happens is because of the differences in dialogue and direction and expression, a lot of women will shrink and they will hear their man talking to them and say, oh, you're being mean, or you're being rude, or you're being too harsh. And then what the woman doesn't understand is she will then go talk to her children the same way or in a worse way and see nothing wrong with it. So it's not actually that women see a problem with what the man is saying or how he's communicating. Is that the woman is being sensitive and feeling attacked instead of saying, hey, this is communication. This is his form of communication, his style of communication. He's not calling me out of my name. He's not yelling at me. He's not cursing at me, but he's telling me how he feels. He's telling me what he needs. He's telling me what he's thinking. And that has to be expected and respected, but then also reciprocated. So one of the things, the reason why me and my wife is going on 16 years of marriage as millennials and still making it is the fact that when I talk to her, I tell her, hey, I need you to talk to me and express to me and tell me, what you feel. Sorry about that, I was wrong. What you feeling, like tell me what you need. And I've noticed just from coaching, that's how it is a lot of times with men and women, is we don't express ourselves in a healthy way. We're not real. Like, and I see it both ways. Sometimes men bottle up, bottle up, bottle up. I talked to men not long ago who bottle up, bottle up, bottle up, and then they explode. Women who bottle up, bottle up, bottle up, and then they explode. But in a relationship, you got to understand there's different communication styles, and you got to press different buttons, meaning that you got to approach it different ways. So there may be a way, like where it's complete peace. You're together. Everything is cool, and you're in the bedroom, and you say, hey, I want to create this space, and I want you to understand. I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna yell. I'm not gonna curse. I'm not gonna try to defend or deflect or reject or redirect. I want to hear how you feel and what can be better and what can I do for you? How can I serve you better? And this coming from the man, this coming from the woman, how can I serve you better? Y'all gotta forgive my shooting videos in my same little t-shirt, but I ain't got too many of them. How can I serve you better? What can I do to help our relationship grow? And that's what is needed in communication. And so when we understand that, and coming from a male perspective, what I want women to understand is that a man is not going to always communicate the way you want him to or the way that you need him to, unless you express to him that you need that communication and that you express to him how you receive communication. So what I'm not saying is let a man yell at you, curse at you, call you out your name, talk to you any kind of way. But what I am saying is that when a man does talk to you without being verbally abusive, understand that it may be direct. He may not pull any punches with his words, meaning it may be a raw and real truth coming from his heart. And when a man does that, that is what you want. The scariest thing, the thing you don't want, is a man that don't talk, is a man that doesn't express himself, a man that refuses to express himself, a man who throws his hands up and says, forget it. You don't hear me. You don't respect me. Everything I say, you throw it back. You don't want that. And yes, that goes both ways. And so for the that goes both ways crowd, listen, we adults, we know that. Stay out the comments. Oh, that goes both ways. We know that. But for the sake of the mind, you can't talk in two directions. And if you think you can, start a YouTube channel and start trying to talk in two directions. You got to talk to one at a time for the sake of focus and direction. And if you need to invert the message, then invert the message. If you need somebody to see this and say, hey, listen to this, but from your perspective, or this is what I've been trying to say as a woman about my communication style, what he's describing about a man's communication style. If you have that type of relationship where you can do that, like I said the other day, sometimes it's best not to mention who you watching online, because some people can't receive that. So understand that. And to those of y'all, Tony, don't worry about what people be saying. Just do the message. I'm not like that, because I don't like nobody to be lost, and I also don't like people to disrupt the work God trying to do. Because if you listen to my videos, you'll realize it's never to be one-sided or to skew anything. It's always to try to help bring balance in a relationship and understanding in a relationship. But the reason why I have to do it this direction is because I'm a man. So I cannot always sit and talk from a woman's perspective, because I'm not a woman. I can only speak about what I think I understand about a woman. And that's the problem that so many women have, is there's so many women talking and giving advice to women about men. So it's women speaking from a male perspective instead of from a woman's perspective. And so the women feel intimidated by men, and don't want to talk to men from a woman's perspective to help men better understand women. So instead, women are talking to women, helping women better understand men, but the women who are talking still don't understand men. 9 out of 10 of them still are single, or married and unhappy, or married and don't know their husband is unhappy because they're doing too much talking on the internet. And so instead of focusing on the marriage, and that same thing happened to me in my marriage, because that's how I know. There was a time where I was so bogged down with other people problems. I was doing so much talking to other people that I was not working on myself and developing me in my relationship. And I had to become aware of that and to be intentional about my self-work and perfecting my relationship and my interactions with my wife before I was helping other people in theirs. And so that's what we got to understand with this, is that when you hear these messages, it's coming from a tried and true place. It's coming from years of research and experiment and dedication and being in the trenches. And what I want to better help people better understand is how men operate and think and what we need, because that is the breakdown. 9 out of 10 times, the breakdown of a marriage is on the man. And it's really because the man is not, he can't be read and he can't be understood. And there's no real chemistry because he's not expressing himself, or his expression isn't being understood, or it's being swept under the rug. So hear me on this. Think about this. God bless you. We'll talk soon.